Hello world, today I'm back with another new video. Today I'm bringing you a video all about Hellllllo. If you don't know, I went to Hellllllo in 2016. I have a video that tells you how to prepare and my review and what I think of the festival up here in the cards. Instead of repeating that video this year, you can just go check that one out, and I am going to tell you what to do in New York City during your downtime of Hellllllo. If you don't know, I went to school in New York City, so I have a pretty good idea of some fun stuff to do. That I'm going to include some touristy stuff and some not so touristy stuff, because it's definitely good to get a mix when you're going somewhere that you don't see all the time. I guess I'm going to toss in some other random tips and stuff about Hellllllo throughout the video, but this is mostly going to be about what to do during Hellllllo weekend when you're not there. The first thing I want to say is if you're doing stuff before or after Hellllo, definitely be sure to be careful about what you're wearing. There are crazy people in New York City. I have lived in a few cities now, and New York City definitely has the craziest people. They are not afraid to talk to you. You shouldn't be scared at all, but definitely keep an eye around. In my opinion, you really shouldn't be wearing like rave clothes out and about, like with your ass out and like little rave outfits. Bring something that you can wrap yourself in that's lightweight, even a kimono if you have to, so you're not subject to people like catcalling you the whole weekend or the whole night after the show or before the show. It's just gonna drive you insane. It's not fun. The first thing I guess I want to start out with is bomb places you can eat. Obviously this all depends on where you're staying. There's probably going to be great places around you, but I wanted to throw in some go-to spots that are worth you traveling to. So if you're looking for something quick, always grab dollar pizza. It's literally $1. It's always cash only, but it's always worth it. You have no idea how many dollar pizza slices I've had. There's no need in getting expensive pizza besides Joe's Pizza. Joe's Pizza is so bomb. Backpacking off classic New York City food, go get a bagel. Thompson Square Bagels is really good, and my personal favorite was always Brooklyn Bagels. Get crazy cream cheese, get a weird combo. It's always worth it. The bagels are expensive, but to die for. You have to get a New York City bagel. Speaking of breakfast foods, if you're into tea and stuff like that, you can check out Cha Cha Matcha. This has a really cute aesthetic. Everything is pink, and it's definitely an Instagram worthy spot if you're into that. Other places you can go to lunch, kind of rewinding back, Artichoke Pizza is really famous. It's known for like celebrities and stuff being there after the clubs, and it's expensive, but it's pretty good. It's a little bit of more of an experience. Continuing on with lunch, Shake Shack, and my trick is, honestly, I don't think the burgers are that good, but the Chicken Shack is so good. You have to get the Chicken Shack and you have to get the lemonade. Literally gives Chick-fil-A a run for its money. A cool but very touristy dinner spot I've never been to, but you always go to the Sugar Factory. That is so classic New York City. Next, places that are great for dessert. You can find one of those rolled ice cream places that's super popular in New York City. You can go to Black Tap, which is known for the over-the-top and extra milkshakes that are probably 4,000 calories. You can go to Magnolia's Bakery, which is famous, like fancy dessert place. I've always liked Baked by Melissa, which has the mini cupcakes, but I'm not sure if that's even really a New York City thing. You can always stop at one of those little vendors on the side of the road that are going to be in all those touristy spots and get a cronut, which is part donut, part croissant. Those never go wrong, and they're relatively cheap. That's obviously not every place that's good in New York City to eat. If you want, my best bet for you would to go onto Pinterest and search best places to eat in New York City, like on a budget or whatever you're looking for, and that's how you can find like cool places that are on trend to eat, like when the rainbow bagels were a thing. If that's still a thing, do not go there. No shade towards that place. I bet they have other bagels that are bomb, but the rainbow bagel was not good. If you're looking for something more of like an event, there's always food trucks down in Brooklyn. It's next to the park where the Brooklyn Bridge is. What is it called? Smorgasbord. Go to Smorgasbord in Brooklyn. Check what days it's open. It might only be open on Sundays, but they have bomb food trucks and it'll give you something to chill and do during the day. By the way, the best way to get around to all these places is the subway. Do not be afraid of the subway. Fill your card up, put like $20 on it at once, and then you won't have to think about filling it up every time, because sometimes you just want to run straight onto that train, and if you're only filling up $2 or $3 at a time, you're never gonna get where you need to go. get everyone in your group to put on $20 so you don't have to think about loading your card on every single time. But that will be faster than Uber in 90% of the cases. I'm kind of putting this into a separate category, but something to do that's also food is going to brunch. That's like a whole activity in itself. Brunch starts later in the day and it can go to like 3 or 4. There's a ton of places where you can get bottomless mimosas or whatever kind of drink they have. So look up places. Sometimes you can find things like that on like Groupon and places like that. So I would go to a brunch place. I'm pretty sure Pietro Nolita has brunch, and that's a Italian restaurant that is all pink. Jack's Way Frito was one of my favorite places to get brunch, but honestly every time I went to brunch I went to a new place and I never remembered the name or made a note because there's that many different places to go. You have options on options, so get out there and find. So now I'm just gonna go into general areas that you should check out while you're there. One of my favorite spots to go in New York City that has such a cool vibe is Soho. It feels like you're in like Europe. The buildings are really cool. The only thing about Soho is you're gonna be spending money for sure if you're there because it's shopping. There's a lot of expensive stores. There also are affordable stores there. There's brunch and coffee and all that down there. This is like where young celebrities live too, so if you're lucky you might run into somebody. Another great place to hang and chill is obviously Central Park. There's so many nooks and crannies in Central Park that I never even found, so don't be afraid to rent a bike or something and get in there and chill under the tree, maybe relax a little bit. There's also the iconic Columbus Circle there, if you want to see. That's like iconic for someone that like watches Gossip Girl and things like that. Another great location is the East Village. You might run into some celebrities here. It's really nice, and honestly that's actually definitely my favorite spot in New York City, just above Soho. It's such a cool, intimate, like cute area. It feels like you're in like a little village in New York City. The streets get so much smaller. It's so cute, and there's tons of places to eat here, like great for brunch, bars, and there's younger people there because it's near NYU. Washington Square Park is also near there, and that's a great spot to chill. There's a fountain, and this is right on NYU's campus. If you're near Brooklyn, you can go to Williamsburg or Dumbo, and this is where it's like the hipster built up new area of New York City. Well, that's like the stereotype. It literally is just an extension of Manhattan. It's more like Manhattan than it's like Brooklyn. Definitely a cool vibe. Again, tons of brunch spots. So at night, I have not specifically checked out what the deal is with the after parties, but I think they have some at the Brooklyn Mirage, and if not, you should check out to see if there are any late night shows there. The Brooklyn Mirage is a classic venue. It's attached to an indoor venue, and the whole outside is huge, and you can oversee the city from there. Take advantage of the fact that the nightlife goes till 4 a.m. in New York. Since the city festival ends pretty early, so you're gonna have so much time to explore after. You can get out of there fast, at least a couple hours. If you're someone that likes clubs, which is so not me, you could try to find a promoter online, like through Instagram or something. Just start searching hashtags and stuff like that, and you can try to get into those clubs. I personally don't recommend it because I don't believe in the way that they treat women or anybody for that matter. But if you're into that scene, go on Instagram and find a promoter to help let you in. If you're a boy, you're gonna have to pay. That's only for girls. My favorite thing to do that's super wholesome, I made all my friends do this every time they came, was go to the Brooklyn Bridge, and it is insane during the day. It's literally like torture. So my secret is, if you're not freaked out by the city at night, go there at night. I just take the subway down to the closest subway station, and again, insider tip, use the app City Mappers, and that is the best way to help you get around using the subway. It combines the walking and city directions. It is literally foolproof. The app changed my life when I lived in New York City. So use City Mappers to get from point A to point B, and this will bring you to the closest train station. I can't remember what it's called, but it's a short, maybe 10-minute walk from the subway station across the bridge, and you can just walk across the bridge. And the great thing at night is that no one is there, and you can literally just take it all in. Literally, you'll be the only one there. It's very cold because it's above the river and it's so high up, so bring a jacket, but it's literally pure bliss. The weird thing about walking on the Brooklyn Bridge is it feels like this Manhattan completely engulfs you around, but it's actually quite the opposite. It's going the other way. Something else that I love to do all at once is go see the World Trade Center. You can take the subway, I think it's called the World Trade Center stop, and it brings you into this all white mall that's super sick. And then when you get outside, you see the architecture of the building that like looks like this. It's like a really weird shaped building. And then you walk up right next to it and you see the World Trade Center. The World Trade Center is so sick because the way it's shaped, it's like there's a square at the bottom. Is it a square? If it's a square like this at the bottom, even though it's a rectangle, the square at the top, instead of mirroring it just above it, it's like this. So in order for them to connect, they meet, the building meets at a point at the bottom. It also meets at a point at the top. If you stand right in the middle of a wide part at the bottom and you look up, it gives the illusion that it's like a never-ending building that disappears into nothing. Literally, it's gonna make you like fall over because it's such a weird illusion. It's so cool. I personally love doing that. And then you can either go walk through the financial district and walk to the ferry and see the Statue of Liberty. Secret tip is to see the Statue of Liberty is to just take the ferry. It costs no more than a few dollars. Take the ferry round trip. It will bring you to Staten Island and it brings you right by the Statue of Liberty, and then you take it right back after. This will take a few hours out of your day. Probably takes like 45 minutes each way, but it's a great view and you don't have to pay for the tour. Backing up a little bit again to shopping. I know tons of people are going to want to be shopping when they're in New York City, even if it is an expensive weekend. Again, I would go to Soho to shop. Another great place to shop is 6th Ave. These are going to be all the stores that you can probably get at home for the most part, but they'll be the flagship stores for the most part. They'll be big and extra and like concept stores maybe. If you want to get some good like knockoffs and cheap like flea market stuff, go down to Canal Street in Chinatown. Get ready to barter. Never show them how much money you have. You can also go to Times Square to shop. I lived right near Times Square and that's the spot that all real New Yorkers try to avoid. I honestly kind of liked it. I would avoid it during the day, and since I'm such a night owl, I would go there at night. The stores are open till like 3 a.m. so if there's any last minute things you need and that's the time you're feeling like doing it, Times Square is dead after midnight and it's honestly so cool. I loved walking through Times Square the middle of the night because it's such a different experience. The experience during the day is not worth it compared to the night. It's just like the Brooklyn Bridge. If you want to do some vintage shopping, there's great vintage stores everywhere. My favorites were the Vintage Twin, which is a little bit pricey. My true favorites were L Train Vintage, and specifically within the L Train Vintage chain, I liked Urban Jungle. They have L Train, I think they had, last time I checked, they had like 5 locations throughout Manhattan and Brooklyn. My favorite was in Bushwick, Brooklyn, called Urban Jungle. They have like Levi vintage jeans for like $20. It's amazing. That is my favorite vintage store of all time, Urban Jungle. Finally, something wholesome and fun you can do during the day is the High Line. Again, this was right near where I lived. You can start up at the top in Chelsea and walk all the way down. It's a park and walkway built up on what used to be a railroad track, and they have even vendors along the way. And if you make it all the way down to the south end of the High Line, there's a ton of cute bars and stuff along the walk, and then when you get off the walk, and I really recommend that too. So hopefully this helps you decide what you can do during the day when you're trying to go out and about and enjoy the city. I know the festival is really exhausting, so I try not to put in anything that would take too much energy. Kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Get food and enjoy yourself. Do something you have to do while still seeing the city. Also, people obviously want to shop when they're in New York City, so I had to help you out with the secret spots. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have so much fun in New York City. I'm not gonna lie, I never want to live there again, but I'm jealous. I could use a vacation to New York, so please enjoy it. Have so much fun. If you want to learn more, my full survival guide of Izu is on my channel. Go check that out. If you want to see more videos related to festivals in general, I go to tons of festivals and other shows that I make videos about. Please so subscribe. You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter as well, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.